Welcome to Cross Culture New Mexico. I'm your host, Mark Tross. Be sure to check us out at crossculturenm.weebly.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, LinkedIn, and other social media sites. Today we're going to continue part 2 of the Sabbath, or Shabbat, and the traditional Jewish observances. And remember, we talked about the classical rabbis' verse, such as Exodus 20, verse 8, where it could be eminently practical as we remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, these are traditions that have been going on from the very beginning of God giving his law to Moses, the lighting of the candle as such, the breaking of the bread. We're going to get into some of the specifics of that in this segment. So 2 candles are lit. There is a blessing before the sun sets on the beginning of the Sabbath evening. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has set us apart or sanctified us by your commandments, by your word. Now this is very important because Jesus, Yeshua, is the word and has commanded us to kindle the Sabbath lights. Remember, he said, I am the light of the world. He also said, you are the light of the world. So the candles are lit. There is a cup of wine or kosher grape juice according to the provision of our lives out of Psalm 104 verse 15. And it is said this specific blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei parei hagafen. Blessed art thou, Lord, our God, King of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Now remember, we are to be fruit bearers, good fruit and lasting fruit for God's kingdom purposes. It only comes by abiding in him, according to Jesus in John 15. Remember, he said, I am the vine, you are the branch. Now the branch is a hollow stick that the vine flows through in order for us to bear this fruit. Now the challah bread, which is a combination of egg twisted bread, for traditional occasions, there's a challah plate, and it represents the manna, or what is it, is what the word manna means, the bread that they ate in the desert. And they say this blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam hamotzi lechem mien haaretz. Blessed art thou, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. Now remember, Jesus said, I am the bread of life, and he came forth from the earth after his resurrection. And remember, he is coming again. So the bread is broken by hand because of the idea that all the weapons of war will be done away with at the coming of Messiah, according to Isaiah 2, verse 4. So there's no knives. The bread is broken by hand. And some of the people salt the challah to symbolize the salt of the sacrifices in the temple area. Now the salt, remember, Jesus said, you're the salt of the earth. If you lose your saltiness, what good are you? And so Shabbat Shalom, or peace of the Sabbath, is shared as they share the bread with one another, often with a kiss and a hug. And a final blessing is given at the actual Sabbath meal. The father places his hands on his son and says, Yimshika Elohim Ephraim Vechi Manasseh. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh, according to Genesis 48:20. For daughters, he gives a slightly different blessing. Yimshik Elohim Kesarach Rivka Rachel and Leah. May you be like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Wife is also blessed by reading Ashit Kail, the virtuous woman of Proverbs 31:10 through 31. So it's quite a extensive time of sharing with the family. Even after dinner, many traditional zimrots or songs are sung. I don't know about you, but my family used to gather around the piano, or sometimes with a guitar or harpsichord, and sing some songs at parties. So this is a sacred assembly, a holy convocation to the Lord according to Leviticus 23:3, which we covered in the last segment. Now, the typical service, while having flexibility, has followed the same basic structure since the days of Ezra and Nehemiah, according to Nehemiah chapter 8. And the law, or the Torah, and the prophets, the Haftorah, is read. And again, it is about the Oneg Shekabah, or the delight of the Sabbath. And to call the Sabbath a delight is a commandment. It's to taste and see that the Lord is good, experientially come to know. And there were new moon Sabbaths every month in the biblical times, and the Jews today still function under that biblical calendar. About the circular nature of life, according to 1 Samuel 25 and Isaiah 1:13 and 66:23. Time marches on to its goal. Therefore, we should number our days to walk in wisdom, according to Psalm 90, verse 12. Now, the Jewish months, the Rosh Chodesh, or about the new moon, is not a Sabbath itself. It's simply remembered by some additions in liturgy, such as the following. May it be thy will, O Lord our God, and God of our fathers, to renew us unto us this coming month for our good and for blessing. The new month of whatever it is will begin on whatever the day is. May the Holy One, blessed be he, renew this month for us and for all his people, the house of Israel, for life and peace, or shalom, for gladness and joy, for salvation, which in Hebrew is Yeshua, and comfort, and let us say amen. Now, the word to distinguish Sabbath from all other days, rabbis created a service called the Havdalah, or for Hebrew means separated. So we are separated or sanctified unto God. And at that time they light a candle, and it reminds us of the light of the Sabbath that will soon depart. Now listen to this. The traditional verse read in Isaiah 12:2 reads, surely God is my salvation. So in Hebrew, salvation is Yeshua. So in every temple today, all around the world, and throughout the time of Moses up until today, they've read these portions of scripture saying salvation, or Yeshua, Jesus. And so a spice box is passed around, a cup of wine or grape juice is passed around the table. Everyone takes a sip. It's like our traditional communion, which comes out of Passover. Eliyahu Hanavi, or Elijah the prophet, is significant. There's songs that are sung. It is a messianic tune. May Elijah come with Messiah, son of David. And we know that Jesus said Elijah has come, speaking of John the Baptist. Next time we'll talk about the Sabbath in the New Covenant. Hope you enjoy it. Check out our website, crossculturenm.weebly.com.